contract years. It is a time where players have to step up and players have to prove their worth and prove why they should stick with the team that they are currently playing on. And when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's quite a few recognizable names that definitely are in that category.
Starters, actually. Some of them are serious starters. Some of them are high draft picks where they are seriously going to have to step it up and earn a second contract or another contract for that team altogether. So we're going to go down the list, man. We're going to go over the more recognizable names, the more guys that definitely are going to be under the microscope this year for sure. First name that comes to mind is obviously Devin Bush. His fifth-year option was declined. We made a video about him, about Ken Miles, Jack, and Brian Flores bring the best out of Devin Bush. Could this be a comeback year? We all know the potential he showed in his rookie year and a little bit in his second year before he tore his ACL, and he hasn't recovered yet. Now he's looking very focused. He's looking very fluid. He's looking fast again. He's looking like the Bush that we traded up to get in the 2019 draft. And to give him the benefit of the doubt, last offseason he was more on the rehab rather than training. Now he has the training factor to work on.
Yes, he does.
So hopefully we get back to the Devin Bush we saw in the rookie year where we were so excited about a guy like him wearing 55 in the middle of that front seven that we were all hyped to see and just watch grow. Hopefully we get that back. But he's definitely going to have to step it up this year. I don't know if he'll earn a contract just because we have Miles Jack. Maybe there's another guy that steps up behind the inside linebacker depth chart. It all depends what Devin Bush brings to the table this year. He will be the number 2. Jack will take away some of the responsibilities that Bush just could not endure, such as coverage, such as working as the number 1.
Yes, it's the stuff that Bush cannot really fulfill, unfortunately. He has experience at it, but he just could never make the full adjustment as a number 1. As a number 2, I feel like it fits him perfectly, especially with his size, considering he is a bit undersized for an NFL linebacker.
And he can just now work at what he works best at, which is his speed, sideline-to-sideline ability, stopping the run, potentially passing the quarterback, rushing the quarterback. I mean, hopefully we see the best out of Bush this year.
Yeah, some of the weight that's been on Devin Bush's shoulders is now going to be moved over to Miles Jack, to which he's more capable of taking that role.
Right.
And Bush can just worry about what he's got to do and produce on the field. As far as pass coverage goes, stopping the run, blitzing, do what you got to do to earn your worth and prove why we did trade up for Devin Bush.
He has all the support now. Think about it. He has all the support now. Now, Vince Williams was a great compliment to him in the first couple years. But now he has a guy like Miles Jack that can do a lot of the things Bush cannot. And that's mostly due to Bush's height. But now he also has a great senior defensive assistant / linebacker coach, which everyone is pumped to work with.
Yes.
The sense of energy in OTAs and minicamp is already contagious. Now it's going to be moved down to Latrobe in training camp in a couple weeks. That's exciting. Hopefully that rubs off on Bush and we see the best of Bush yet to come.
And maybe he does earn a second contract. Who knows?
I would hope so because the talent is still there. He just doesn't lose talent overnight.
No.
The talent is there. He needs to bring it out. Hopefully we see that. Now, the second guy that is definitely going to have to prove himself, and this is definitely going to be determined via training camp and all that, is Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, he's not really a fan favorite.
No, he's not.
He hasn't been since the season he started, 2018, when Ben went down.
2019, but yes.
Yeah, that season, yeah.
Right. But, see, man, it's interesting with Rudolph because I don't know where he's going to, where his worth is going to be this year. Because is he going to be that veteran that's going to take the rookie under his wing? Because he's the most experienced quarterback we have on the roster right now.
Currently, yes.
And that's even more so than Mitch because he's worked with Canada. He's worked with the targets we have.
That's the only worth that Mason has going for him at this moment.
Right now. But I'm sure Mitch might be the starter. It could be Pickett. I don't know. I don't know what the quarterback battle is going to be. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know who's going to be the quarterback in order of depth chart. It could be Mitch, Mason, Kenny. It could be Mitch, Kenny, Mason. It could be. I don't know what the order is going to be, because this quarterback battle is going to be very interesting this year, especially since it's a new era. I mean, I hope we see the best out of all these guys.
Yes.
Mason is going to have to be that veteran backup, I would suppose,
as he is.
But more so like that leadership aspect. You know what I'm saying? On the bench, on the sideline. But, I mean, the Steelers seem to like Rudolph a lot. That's why they extended him before the draft last year to secure that they had a quarterback on the roster. And now they paired him with Mitch and Kenny. So, I don't know. I don't know if Mason gets a or a third contract with the Steelers. I don't know if he gets another extension with the Steelers.
I think really depends on how he showcases his talent in training camp and preseason, depending on how Mason and Kenny do. And let's not even forget about Chris Oladukin, who he drafted in the 7th round. That could be Mason's competition. Potentially his replacement. I don't know.
Yeah, because you look at the contracts now. Mitch is under 2 years. Kenny's under 4 or 5 years. Mason's under his last year. So, I don't know.
And I've heard that the Steelers are trying to see if they can trade him for like maybe a 5th or at least a 6th. So, does he even stay with the team when it comes to regular season time?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea what the future holds for Mason.
Mason right now is basically up in the air for me and Dan. If he stays, we got a capable backup. I don't think he's as bad as many Steelers fans are projecting him to be.
Right.
He's not that terrible. He's nothing good. He's not that bad, though.
Right. But here's the question. I mean, let's say Kenny is the starter next year. And by next year, I mean 2023. Would Mitch be the backup? Do you trade Mitch? At that point, do you bring Mason back as the backup? I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for Mason. Time will tell.
Or the quarterback position, really.
Right, but his worth is going to have to be shown in camp and preseason to say, hey, I can still be a backup at least. Otherwise, I don't know, man.
Yeah, his veteranship and his experience with the Steelers is what's really going to have to stick out to the coaches.
Yes, it is.
That's the only thing that's really going to be the saving grace for Mason Rudolph, but we'll see what happens.
Right. Same thing can be said for Cameron Sutton, who we all like, we all adore, because he is one of the very, very, very few homegrown corners that the Steelers have actually drafted and we've extended, and he's actually pretty good.
He's a very talented, very versatile cornerback, Cameron Sutton is. Definitely got a lot of talent still left in him.
And he's still young, and I think he's going to have one of his best years this year because he's going to be in his most natural spot, which is the slot. You're not moving Witherspoon to the slot. You're definitely not moving Wallace to the slot, and you're not sitting either. Sutton would have to be forced to the slot, which is his best role. He's seen a few years outside, and he's decent, but I don't think he's entirely reliable as an outside guy. In the slot, that's where he's best.
Yes, that's where he's most capable. That's where the position on defense fits him best.
That's where he's had some of his best games.
That's actually one of the reasons why he was given a second contract, because of his dominance in the slot.
Yes.
When he rotated with Mike Hilton when Hilton was a Steeler at the
time.
Right,
when they were in nickel and dime packages, and Sutton really proved his worth. That's why they extended him over Hilton. So I think him in the slot, he'll definitely prove himself of getting a third contract. I hope so. Because I think he's going to have one of his best years this year. In the slot, he's more natural. He's very good against the run.
He's got an eye for the ball. He can force fumbles. He's a good tackler. Sutton's got a lot of upside.
Sutton's got all the tools to be a very good nickel guy. Full-time.
And if he does show out, I do think he gets a third contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But I also think his versatility as an outside guy, when necessary, if needed to, only due to injury or whatever, I think that really holds a great standard to the coaching staff when it comes to a guy like Sutton, because he's reliable.
That's another plus for Cameron Sutton as well.
But this year, he's in a contract year. Hopefully he earns a third contract, because we really like Sutton here.
And you want to keep, that young cornerback core together. You don't want to lose a guy and then have to work back up to working on another quarterback development, because we tried that in previous years and it didn't work out.
Right. Even though
you want to keep the guys that are good right now.
Right. Exactly. Another guy that he honestly should get a contract before training camp as well. Honestly, we already got Minka signed up. I don't know if Diontae is going to be a guy. That's another guy who's going to be in a contract year, which we'll get to after this guy. Chris Boswell. This dude needs paid. This dude should stay. This dude should get a contract before camp starts, in my opinion. I think Omar Khan should strike again before camp and extend Boswell. He deserves it. In my opinion, out of this entire list, he's the most deserving.
Dude,
and I put that over Diontae.
He's most deserving, dude. And if you ask me, I'm choosing Boswell over Diontae. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I say he's the most deserving out of this entire list.
When it comes to the NFL, what you would need nowadays is a reliable kicker, and that's what Chris Boswell is. And that's what he has been the past couple years when it came to the offense not getting into the end zone.
Yeah.
Boswell was one of the reasons why we got points on the board, because of his reliability as our place kicker.
Yes.
Chris Boswell is so good, so underrated in the NFL. I don't think he gets as much recognition as a kicker in the NFL than any of these other kickers.
Yeah. He's honestly one of the most reliable, one of the most clutch in the entire league. I want to put him over a Tucker or a Bucker or guys like that, but he's up there.
He's definitely up there. You could definitely put his name up there. Boswell was so reliable, and I'm glad we stuck with him even when he had his down year.
Yeah, Boswell needs a full-time contract, a lifetime contract with the Steelers. I'm so blessed to have this guy in the black and gold because he last year, like you said, he was one of the only guys that could actually get us points on the board consistently.
Not just last year, the year before that too.
Right.
2020. The past 2 years, he's been our most reliable guy that's been able to get us points on the board.
Right.
That's what Boswell is.
We all love Boz, man. The Wizard of Boz needs to stay.
You want to talk about finding a diamond in the rough. That's what Chris Boswell has been ever since he's put on the Steelers uniform.
Absolutely.
Get that man re-signed ASAP.
Right. Now, next guy we're going to talk about is, of course, Diontae Johnson. He's coming into his final year of his rookie contract. Is he deserving of an extension? Absolutely. Yes. We made a whole video about this, that he is now next in line for an extension. If it's not Boz, it's Diontae. However, how much is he worth? How much do the Steelers pay him, knowing their history with receivers and knowing what the market is for receiver now and knowing the depth they have at receiver now?
Yeah. And how much is Deontay's asking price?
Exactly. Well? So, yes, he's absolutely worth an extension. And this year, hopefully, he has one of his best years. And his best year to date, now he has a younger quarterback at Realm throwing him the ball. And he's getting better every year. But the question now is price. We made a whole video on this. But Diontae, I mean, there's no doubt he's going to get paid somewhere. I just don't know where.
It could be with the black and gold. It could be with another team. I don't know.
And if they don't extend him before camp, which personally I would do to get him at the lowest price possible. However, Diontae might just take a gamble and say, let me show you what I can do in my fourth and final year and get a bigger payday.
But even then, do you pay the guy knowing what the Steelers' tendency is at wide receiver? Their tradition at wide receiver.
Exactly. So
their history there.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We'll see what happens with Diontae Johnson.
We'll see. But depending on what he does this year, that will truly show his worthing price.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see, for sure. Another guy we got to talk about is Chris Wormley, because he stepped up last year and loss of Tua due to injury, and now he's going to have to step up this year and loss of Tua due to retirement. I would anticipate him getting a second contract with the Steelers, but we'll see.
Even as depth.
That's what I'm saying, yes. Another guy on the defensive line is Tyson Alualu. I'm not going to get much into this guy just because I personally think he's heading into the last year of his career. He's on the tail end of his career. He's still good. It's great to have him back. But the past 2 years, he's been out with season-ending injuries. Yes. And that's going to play a toll not only when the Steelers look at a guy like him to extend, but also just Tyson Alualu thinking of his career. It's like, I'm on the tail end. I'm 34, almost 35 right now. This might be his last year. If not, and he still proves he can showcase himself, and he still finds that fountain of youth, I'm bringing him back. We'll see what Alualu does and where he's at in terms of a football career. But I'm anticipating him having his last year this year, but we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully he goes out with a bang and fixes this run-stopping defense.
Exactly. Derek Watt. DJ. This guy is a topic of discussion because we were all hyped to have him and pair a Watt brother with TJ, and we were all excited because we somewhat thought JJ was going to come to the Steelers, but that's never going to happen because...
No.
But anyway,
no.
We because Rosie Nix was always hurt, we brought him in, and we're like, we got one of the best fullbacks in the league because he was underrated with the Chargers, and he's a great special teams guy, but that's all he is to the Steelers now. It's a special teams guy.
And we're paying him the second most money at the fullback position to literally play on special teams.
And I'm not doing that when we can run I-form and get an additional blocker in there, especially when it comes to the goal line, when it comes to short yardage. I don't understand why we don't use Derek Watt as much. Hopefully we do this year. I don't know. I can hope and pray.
I like to see him more on offense, even as a pass catcher, if anything.
Right.
As another weapon out there for Mitch or Kenny, whoever.
Derek Watt has a role and some worth on the offense as a fullback, as a blocker, in I-form, and whatever you need to use him. Even at tight end, very similar to Connor Hayward. But
speaking of Connor
Hayward, are we looking at Connor Hayward to replace Watt after this year?
I was just about to bring that up, considering that we drafted Hayward not just because he's Cameron's brother, but because of his upside and his versatility on the offense.
Now, it's not a direct battle. It's not Connor Hayward versus Derek Watt. That's not a training camp battle. Connor Hayward is going to be a tight end, probably the tight end 3 this year. Watt is going to be the fullback.
But after this year, who's to say that Hayward doesn't transition to the running back fullback position and Watt tests his free agency?
Especially since Hayward can play special teams as well. So I don't know what the future holds for Derek Watt. I hope we see him on offense. I hope Canada has some ways to get him on the offensive side of the ball and use him as a blocker, maybe as a secret weapon, as a receiving threat. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Hayward might take that from Watt. He might take time from Watt. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know what the future holds for Watt. But in terms of a special teams aspect, I bring him back. What that price is or what his worth is compared to Hayward, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much the Steelers use Watt on offense. We'll see how he is on. I mean, he's already a great special teamer. There's no doubt about that.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of getting him on offense, getting him as an extra blocker for Najee, and even as another target for our quarterback.
Right. And I think the last guy we're going to talk about in this video is Terrell Edmunds. Another topic of discussion because there's mixed feelings about Edmunds around Steeler Nation. He's good. He's solid. He's terrible. He's the weak link of the defense. I've heard it all. And believe me, we were not Edmunds believers for the first 2 years. We were not.
No.
We were not. We were in that camp. Oh, he's a bust. Oh, he's terrible. Oh, he is the weak link. That turned a switch so quick for us because Edmunds proved his worth.
Listen, is he something spectacular? Fuck no.
No, he's not.
But is he a bust? No.
No.
He fills that strong safety role fine. He is a dependable and reliable safety. I say that because he has started so many games. He's been an effective tackler. He's actually gotten better at his tackling.
This is a guy.
His ball skills, actually, last season, his ball skills were probably the best.
Yes.
In his entire career. I think he's only going to get better.
Yes, and he's become dependable at the strong safety position. He actually allows Minka to do Minka things.
Okay. He complements Minka so well. Minka can do Minka things while Edmonds can do what Edmonds needs to do.
And here's the thing with Edmonds, man. Very rarely do you find a guy so young, but yet he hasn't missed a game. He doesn't miss one snap. And that's been the way for him since his rookie year. There's value in Edmonds.
And the thing about Edmonds is his dependability, and that's what you want on our defense. You want guys that are extremely dependable.
Right. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to disagree with the fact, does he miss tackles? Does he miss angles sometimes? Yes, and it irks the shit out of me, believe me. But that's any defensive player on this team because I've seen it at every position. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes bad plays. Edmonds has limited the bad plays, in my opinion.
Yes, he has. And we got him back on a cheap one-year deal, which is essentially a cheaper fifth-year option.
Like, what beautiful business right there.
We declined it, which obviously would have been more expensive. And we obviously tested the safety market in free agency as we were interested in Tyrann Mathieu, but considering the deal we got for the Saints, we weren't going to pay him that.
No.
Hell no. Considering we had to bring Minka back, we had to re-sign Minka.
Yeah, so, all right, Edmonds, come back. $2.5 million. That's the cheapest fifth-year option of all time.
And he's familiar with the coaches. He's familiar with Minka. He's familiar with the defense. And he's so dependable at the strong safety position. And this could very well be the year that Edmonds proves his worth and maybe does get a 2-3 year deal down the road for the Steelers. Right. I don't know. We'll see how Edmonds does, but I'm looking forward to see how Edmonds does in his fifth year with the Steelers.
I'm just looking forward to see Minka and him remain together and just continue that really good safety duo. And that safety tandem at the back of the secondary, which actually really does benefit our corner core at the same time.
Yeah.
Our secondary is very solid. But when you look at this entire list, you see a lot of starters. You see a lot of key guys that are definitely going to, they're going to have to prove themselves. Some of them are pretty high draft picks like Edmonds and Bush, and even Diontae was a third-rounder. So you look at those guys, they're going to have to prove themselves. And I don't know how many of them actually get contract extensions. I have no clue.
Guys like Wormley and Mason Rudolph, do they get extensions after this year?
Yeah, or you can even say the same thing for a guy like Justin Lane or Benny Snell, who it seems like they're going to have to make their worth now as special teamers because they don't see time on the field. Or even like a Zach Gentry.
Yeah.
He's stepping up as number 2 this year. I think he'll get an extension.
Yeah, there's even some capable depth guys that we have on certain positions that we could see step up sometime.
And they'll be cheap, but in terms of starters, a lot of these guys are just going to have to truly prove themselves and get a second contract with the team, a second or third contract with the team.
But we'll see what happens this upcoming season. It's going to be exciting for sure.
It's going to be incredibly exciting, man. But let us know your guys' thoughts down below. Out of all these free agents, who would you keep? Who would you bring? And who do you think is going to step up to the plate in what should be a big year for the Steelers? And for some of these guys individually.
Yeah.
As they try to prove themselves. So let us know your guys' thoughts and see you into the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!